Welcome back, Schmoville. Once again, it's the Schmoes No Show.
It's the big live show.
It's it's not live.
The whole crew's here.
No, no one's here really. Just me, you, and Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Me, you, and
hey,
Adam. What's up, Adam?
The off-camera Adam.
Off-camera Adam is his name.
Well, did you see one time? This is going to be a pre-tape show. One time we did a show. I think you weren't on. It was like me, Jay Washington, Copster, and somebody else. And Adam.
Did you nail it?
He was great.
He's good.
He was great on camera.
I feel like he's secretly that guy when he goes home, he's practicing into the mic like he wants to host movie talk and everything.
He's Ken Napzok at 12 years old doing a radio show in his...
And when he's just waiting for his big moment, and when he gets it, he's probably going to be the best that we've seen do this thing.
Knock it out of the park.
I asked him once, I said, "Would you ever want to do a Schmodown?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, absolutely."
Good broadcasting voice.
He does.
Obviously knows a lot about the business, the engineering. So bright future for him. Adam Smith.
He's got to step up a little bit. Not with his work. His work is great.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying as far as like wanting to get in there and say, "Hey guys, give me my shot."
No, he probably needs one of us to learn how to work the engineering.
That's right, otherwise no one will be able to
nobody can take his job is the problem.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So we have this show, and then next week is going to be a similar kind of show. Then we're going to be doing
last week, and
a big show.
We're going to close
after the Last Jedi.
Yes, we will be closing out the year with one of our big shows.
The whole crew.
And I think that's when I initially said that I guess we were going to do maybe we do an announcement tonight, but you and I spoke about it. It makes sense to make an announcement. We're going to make an announcement.
We're not really sure where we're announcing, so
we don't know.
We should probably know what the words that are coming out of our mouth are
before we do it.
Or tweet about it for that matter.
Well, no, I just wrote a 7. That's all I wrote. That's all I did.
You're a big fan of the soda 7-Up.
Yeah. Well, no, not really.
Spot.
Sure.
It's good for your tummy.
Point is, we'll have something to talk about, and when we do this big show, and we'll have everybody here to talk about it, and a couple other.
And by then, The Last Jedi will have been released.
Right.
So, I mean, next week, I think the show is going to be us getting ready, getting excited, and then the week after that will be us, just you and me again, talking about the premiere experience because we're going to the premiere,
which is very cool.
We can announce that.
Yeah.
We're going to the premiere. December 9th is the Star Wars premiere in downtown Los Angeles this time, not in Hollywood and Highland. It's downtown. And we don't know the exact venue yet, but we're going to be rolling up there. Some of our friends are going to be joining us, and I am so excited. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
Not for the quality of the movie, but what actually is going to happen in the movie.
Well, I mean, whatever it is, we know that whatever Rian Johnson wrote and whatever he directed, Lucasfilm was obviously happy with.
Good enough to give him 3 more movies.
And, and I think that they were also listening that a lot of people think that there were certain just familiar elements that we saw with Force Awakens. So I don't think you're going to hit that again because I just don't think that they want to take that kind of criticism right now. I don't think that they
some
need
familiarity.
To. Well, yeah, of course. But I'm talking about as far as, maybe moving the needle a little bit, and I think that that's what's going to happen here. I feel like whether or not you like those choices is going to be the main conversation. I think what you get out of there.
I think one thing, if as long as certain members get out of the movie okay, I will be happy.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I certainly have my predictions.
You think Luke's eating it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think he's going to be Force Ghost. I think he'll come back in Episode 9 and he'll be. It's like he's Obi-Wan. Remember, George Lucas pitched to him years ago, you're going to come back in the new trilogy as the new Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan ate crap after the first movie.
We didn't have the connection with Obi-Wan that we do with Luke Skywalker.
That's why he lasted 2 movies.
The greatest. He didn't last. No, he didn't last. He didn't last this movie.
What? Yeah, he was in the last movie.
He's making Dinty Moore beef stew on an island by himself.
Was he in the movie?
He didn't talk.
Just saying, he was in the movie. So, and I get yelled at by the fans all the time. Just my, well, you
should.
They might yell at me.
Yeah.
But
maybe to them that's how you sound when you make Luke Skywalker.
I think Luke Skywalker's gonna die in Episode 8. George Lucas said he was the Obi-Wan of the book.
I think I said it very calm. I don't think he's gonna make it.
I don't think he's gonna make
freaking
it. Out in that theater. There's another movie.
I'm not holding your hand.
That I think a lot of people have huge expectations for.
Disaster Artist.
A movie called The Room.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Well, no, I mean I want to kick off. I also want to give the kids our thoughts on the other big Disney movie is going to be coming out next year, and that would be the Infinity War trailer.
Sure, we'll talk about that.
Dropping this morning.
Well, I think
holy crap!
I want to get back into the fact of why we're doing this because you and I said, we've been doing more reviews together.
We don't talk anymore.
We don't talk anymore. We don't talk. There was a couple of stretches where you had to do a couple of reviews by yourself. I hadn't been on the live show in a while, and let's just get back to what we were doing for a little bit and do just what happened in 2011 when we put the two mics and we started talking, and did it last week.
It's like our acoustic tour.
Yeah, the fans dug it, so we're going to do it again. And I think it's easier because it's just I think we cover more stuff here. I think it's we can get just the conversation will be a little zigzag. We'll zigzag a little bit in and out.
You can have a lot of reasons for wanting to do this, and it's all fine and good. I wouldn't say we cover more stuff. I wouldn't say like
I think we do.
Man, we just couldn't get to all that stuff that we were going to cover.
I think it's harder to cover that much stuff when you have 8 to 10 people here. I think it's harder to cover.
I mean, you know.
I mean, if you have
Ken doing the news covers a lot of stuff in 3 minutes.
I'm not saying that the conversation in general doesn't. We get some good bits of information there, but too, you're going to get less that we can cover, I think, in that time.
Okay, well, put the clock on it. So, do you want to go into Infinity War? Or you seem like you wanted to. Seem like you wanted to go to Disaster Artist in the Room, which I literally hot off the press.
Just watched The Room.
I 15 minutes ago, I was in the other studio with Dennis and Ashley, and we watched The Room.
And the commentary will be up on Collider, but I pleaded with him. I saw The Disaster Artist in I got it one of the screeners, and we'll talk about that also. But I got it, I watched it, I loved it, and then you were going to see it, and you're like, I'm going to go see the movie first, and then I'll just watch The Room. And I begged you. I said, do not. I said, please watch The Room first. And to your credit, you said, all right, fine. I'll check it out, watch it. Are you glad that you did?
It was under a lot of pressure. It wasn't like one arm twist. I wanted to be the outlier that was like, I'm going to go see The Disaster Artist and just experience that as a movie, because there's a lot of people out there that probably haven't seen The Room, have no idea what it is. They just know that there's this new movie that's getting a lot of award consideration. Right. That's the lens I wanted to watch it through. But the tidal wave of adversity to that wish,
myself and Dennis being the
young boy had. No, there were a lot of fans. They were like, no, you got to watch The Room. You got to do a commentary. You got to do all that. Then Ashley said she hadn't seen it either, and so it's like, okay, well, now we all just got to sit on a couch
and
turn this thing on. It's horrible. It's just so bad. But
would you say it's the champion?
It is in a way that, but like what the conversation we just had is that like Caddyshack 2, I used to consider as the worst movie of all time. Disaster or The Room might be a worse movie, but it's a lot more enjoyable to watch.
Right.
Especially over and over again.
Because
than
you don't have any
Caddyshack 2
expectations of that movie, and it wasn't following up brilliance.
Well, it doesn't matter about that. It's just that it's so bad it's good, and Caddyshack 2 is just bad.
Right.
Like The Room, you watch. It's just there's so many things. Here's the thing, but I was struck with this notion of what scenes did they shoot that they didn't use? That they're like, no, that wouldn't fit.
Maybe they used everything. Can you believe that movie cost $6 million?
No!
That's unbelievable.
No!
It's unbelievable how much money that movie cost.
Yeah, there's just so many different funny ththings. Like, still, my favorite character is New Guy, who just has these awful lines. I mean, nobody's got
There's like
good
4
lines,
new guys.
but he's the one that says, when is the baby due? It's the worst delivery of a line I've ever heard in my life.
I think that there is a documentary, but I think that they have footage of the making of it. I would love to see it. I want to read the book. I want to read the book. So the guy, the whole where the Disaster Artist came from was that Mark, whoever the real actor was,
Greg Sestero,
Greg, he wrote the book and he documented everything that happened, and then that's why they made it into a movie. I didn't know he was the line producer of the movie. That was amazing.
Yeah, he was the line producer, and then Tommy Wiseau just directed, wrote it, stars, and now I got to see The Disaster Artist. I mean, I already wanted to see it now. I'm like, I want to see their interpretation of this and how you take that material and turn it into, regardless of how good the story is, how you take a movie that bad and you make it into Oscar bait is pretty incredible.
It's really incredible because the risk that, and I can tell you after seeing it, I believe you'll feel the same way, the risk going into it is that you turn Tommy Wiseau into a Saturday Night Live or Borat character, and he's not.
Yeah.
You go into this and this is just a weird dude. Weird, mysterious dude. He does it, and it's like, I didn't feel like it was James Franco just doing an accent. I felt like he was Tommy Wiseau.
Well, when I was watching The Room, I was like, I could already see Franco in Tommy Wiseau. I'm like, yeah, I could see how he would do a good job pulling off this look. But you're right, you run the risk of it just being an impression or a caricature, which would be funny for like 15 or 20 minutes.
And they could have went that route. They could have went.
And the trailer made me laugh. Like Seth Rogen as helping out with the camera and just like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? That's funny for 20 minutes, but to make a full-length motion picture, you're going to need more substance in that.
I agree, but they could have, and I'm glad that they didn't. They could have taken that movie like the Neighbors 2 Neighbors route, like the straight-up comedy. Not that Neighbors is not good, but I mean, as far as the that tone. They could have gone straight up just comedy with it, and they don't. They make these people human beings, and they tell the story of what really happened, and that's why it just. And I think that's why it's being talked about for Oscars.
Well, you have that screen. You get sent all these screeners, and so you've seen a bunch of them, like a bunch of the Oscar thing. Disaster Art is number one of the year for you. I mean, you seem pretty high on it.
It's up there. I haven't made the list as far as like what's number one yet, but it's definitely up there. It's up there with Baby Driver and there's a few other movies that I just enjoyed thoroughly.
What else is in the contending for you? I'm going to pull up the because the National Board of Review has theirs.
Yeah. I gotta look because I mean I want to go through them all. Lady Bird is really good, really good movie.
Yep.
Again, I have to go through. Logan's up there. There's so many movies that I've seen this year now because it was so funny because I had this year. Probably out of the most since we started doing this is I've missed the most movies, right?
Yeah.
But within the last week, I've seen I think out of 4 days I saw 8 movies.
Yeah, you crushed it.
Yeah,
and you got the newborn there too.
I made sure.
Is she awake when you're watching it, or what's the daughter and the wife?
So the what I told you on our last show,
they don't have names. They just they just play characters.
It's like you're Tommy Wiseau writing it. Yeah. So it's like, but it was what I was doing. Like I said last week. 8 o'clock, I'd go to sleep, and then start the day. But now I've been sacrificing. And some ball bag on the comments last like,
we don't need to hear about your father problems. There's working parents out there. Deal with it. You're just not invested anymore.
Fuck off, Chuck. And it's like
so working parents aren't allowed to complain about their problems.
Yeah, he was just like because it was a matter. It's like, oh, you're not invested anymore. It's like. I just watched fucking 5 movies in 10 days, and it's like you're not invested. But anyway, point is,
work. That's work.
So 8 o'clock, I was going to sleep, but then I said, you know what, I'm going to try to knock these movies out. So I would watch one and go to bed at like 10:30.
Yeah, okay,
which is okay. I can make that work. So I watched Wonder Wheel, the Woody Allen movie, which reviews on the channel.
Yeah.
I watched Shape of Water, 3 Billboards in Ebbing, Mississippi.
Call Me by Your Name.
Ebbing, Mississippi. Call Me by Your Name. I'm trying to think the other ones.
How is Shape of Water?
I dug it, man. I mean, because it's funny with Del Toro.
I hear Del Toro and I get intrigued.
Well, that's the funny thing with Del Toro is that I think because he has this street cred inside not just the geek community, but in the film community.
I'd say, well, yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, the Hellboy movies.
But that's the thing,
Pacific
though.
Rim.
I like when he does stuff like this and like Pan's Labyrinth. I'm not a big fan of like Hellboy 1 and 2 are good movies, and Pacific Rim it's fine, it's entertaining. But like I think, he's also been guilty of spending like. Pacific Rim spent way too much money.
Spent way too much money. The Crimson Peak, which it was a different movie than it was marketed as, and it didn't need to cost that much.
Right.
In my opinion,
he's been touted as like this amazing genius, right? And this is a movie when I see like Pan's Labyrinth in a movie like this, where I go, yeah, this is why he's touted.
Horror movie?
It's not a horror movie. No, it is his version. It is a romantic fairy tale. As Del Toro would do, I don't know, but I'm telling you though, it's got a twist of Splash without the comedy. It's Splash without the comedy.
There's merfolk.
There are. And you see this in the trailer. There's a creature that is found.
Seen the trailer?
I'm just telling you. There's a creature that was found, and Sally Hawkins, who is the lead, she's a mute.
Yeah.
She works there with Olivia Spencer.
We found a merfolk washed up on shore.
Michael Shannon plays like the villain government guy.
I'll tell you what Michael Shannon wants to do. Same thing I'm going to do. What? You cut that thing open, and you find out what's inside.
Exactly what he wants to do, and you're a horrible person for wanting to do that.
Cut that thing open.
If you had it your way, you would kill that thing, and then you'd shoot the Winter Soldier right after.
And then I would dissect E.T. That Reese's Pieces eating motherfucker.
You're a rotten person. You're rotten. You're not nice.
His people came to Earth to steal plants. So those are our plants.
So leave the guy alone.
Oh, he's a botanist. They're stealing veggies.
He was stoned out of his mind. He got too far away. He was terrible. He was a terrible alien.
E.T. is the worst of that species.
Yeah, he's not great.
He's the Rudy Rudiger of that species.
He was a study getting hammered at this kid's house. He was but he was a good thing. You don't cut him open. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Point is that it is a really good movie. It's done well. It's shot beautifully.
Doesn't sound like it's gonna make your top 10.
I don't know if it will or not. I did enjoy. It was one of those movies that I felt myself thinking about more when I was over, and then I found myself enjoying. I think I really liked it. I think I will say, and I know we're going to review these more down the line here, but even 3 Billboards, everyone was screaming and yelling and loving.
Heard really good things about that and Frances McDormand, didn't it?
Frances McDormand is going to get nominated,
good
for sure. But I liked it. I didn't love it, and I think that it was because of the ending. I think that if when the ending happens, you either are totally on board with this movie, or you're left wanting maybe something else.
All right.
And then Lady Bird, Laurie Metcalf better get nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
You know, I've loved her since Roseanne.
I know. Same with me. But
so good in Roseanne.
She's great in this movie. She's great in this movie, and so is Saoirse Ronan.
Okay, so it seems like your top 10, because we're doing our top 10, you know, as we do every year, and like it starts to round into shape around then. There's a couple movies that I can't imagine not being somewhere in there. Call Me by Your Name and Coco being at the top of the list, and then
yours,
then there's other ones that I really like during the course of the year, like your Logan's, your Wonder Woman, the Get Out, Girls Trip, Baby, and you're like, okay, are they going to stay in the top 10? Because as of right now, they are, but as that playoff picture gets crammed with these Oscar movies, I might fall in love with Shape of Water. I'm watching, really like Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour, you know, see, the thing is, this is what I think. Again,
Happy birthday, Winston Churchill.
Right. I don't want. He's not alive anymore. I don't want to give our review away.
Okay.
But there's just the thing is with Darkest Hour, and I feel there's a couple things you could say about the movie.
Your cards close to your vest.
Trying. The first thing is that you go, and if you want to find out all the stuff about the Oscar movies, you better watch this movie because he's getting nominated and very well might win. He's so good, Gary Oldman.
Sure. It's his Lincoln.
Yeah, but I think the thing with me with this movie is that I'm fascinated with World War II and everything that had happened in World War II, and I knew enough about Winston Churchill, but not as much. I mean, you really learn how he became the prime minister. You learn that he didn't have the support that he ultimately had, and that he was the one that wanted to go head to head with.
He didn't become prime minister until like 1940. I think,
because the war was happening, the invasions were happening already, and the other guy got ousted, and then they voted him into peace, and everyone thought he was going to they were going to eventually his party wanted him out, the opposing party wanted him out, and what he had to do, and the best line in the whole movie, my favorite thing is that you don't negotiate with a tiger when your head hits in his mouth.
Yeah,
it's perfect Gary Oldman yelling, and it works so good. And it is just there's so much in this movie that I couldn't take my eyes off of him.
So you're saying it's your favorite World War II movie of the year?
It is not. But it's funny.
Almost got it.
It's funny you say that because Dunkirk is a big part of Darkest Hour, and I think that it made me. And I already love Dunkirk. Dunkirk is definitely my top 10, by the way. And Dunkirk, I thinking about it even more, and I think I love Dunkirk. I've only seen it once, but I think I enjoy it even more because of Darkest Hour. Because knowing that much more, and knowing that what Churchill did for Dunkirk, and how Dunkirk had the impact on Dunkirk, when you realize that what would have happened if those soldiers don't get out, Britain's done.
Right. I mean, it's a weird thing because I'm the guy that likes to like hell. I want to see the disaster artist without seeing the room, and then I was convinced otherwise. But like, I don't want to. If I know like The Martian's based on a book, like why am I going to read the book? I don't care about that. But history is something I'm pretty well steeped in history.
Sure.
But I like knowing as much as possible about the events. Like I knew a lot about the events that are in the Post.
Oh, the Post.
And so going to watch it, I would encourage people to do their research ahead of time because sometimes if you see a movie that's like based on history, but it's kind of bullshit, and that they kind of fudge some facts, and it doesn't really reward the history buff. But I think the Post and definitely Dunkirk.
You can't talk about that yet.
And but like it's one of those things that like will. This is a gentle reminder. Don't get too worked up. But it's like I would suggest people do their due diligence with the actual stories before you see the movie because it's going to be a more rewarding experience.
Well, I think a lot of these movies that are coming out.
If I can read, you can read.
Yeah, I think a lot of these movies that are coming out, you should do that. I mean, even Lady Bird, which is not a true story, but it is semi-autobiographic. I can't get the word out.
Erotic. Erotic. Yeah.
It's not an autobiography, although it's semi. And
semi-autobiographic.
Thank you. Close for me. Greta Gerwig directed and wrote this movie, and then I started looking as I'm watching it. I was like, I wonder like how much of this. I was like, I wonder if Greta Gerwig is from Sacramento, and she's from Sacramento. I wonder if she went to this type of school. She went to this type of school. So she wrote what she knows, right? Yeah. And I think that she is. If she gets nominated, it would be amazing because I don't know if this is her first movie that she's directed, but I think it is. And
look that up.
Just look it up. But I mean, it is such a real. It's a great coming of age story, and there's a lot of these coming of age stories, like whether it's Call Me by Your Name or Lady Bird. But I think that, going into, there's a lot of these stories that you should know going into it. But I realized as I was watching all these screeners and I'm watching all these movies, and I love the summer movies as much as the next.
No, don't do the thing you do every year.
What?
Here it comes.
I love the summer movies as much as the next.
Here it comes.
Look, I've just watched like whatever it was, 8 movies in this 5 or 6 days. I think I didn't like one of them.
But you do this every year. Which I understand. It happens to me too, because you just get inundated with all the blockbusters and you're like, okay, I'm done with that. You get your hopes too high,
No, it's
and
not
then you say
bad.
it's a shitty summer, and then we
I
get
don't
to
think
the
it was a
fall.
shitty summer. I don't think this something. I mean, last year was terrible.
Dude, no. First of all, you were complaining about this summer, and second of all, you had good reason to complain about this summer.
Give me a rundown of some of the movies that came out in the summer.
This is why you don't be the guy that brings the computer, because now.
But bring that up, because
now
I
you're the
think
stat
because
boy.
the thing is that I just felt myself in summer. It was like, it was okay. That was all right. That one wasn't that good.
I'm the positive guy when it
wasn't
comes
that
to
good,
defending
right?
summer. No.
So that's what I'm saying.
No.
So and now as I watched all these movies and I was waiting for one. The only one I felt that this was just okay was Wonder Wheel, and and there was just I had a ton of different issues with it, and it just felt like I didn't really want to watch a play.
Cool with you if we start in April, because that's when
Fine.
the one starts to start.
Fine.
Because you had Fate of the Furious.
And that was and that even that was you know what? That's funny, because that wasn't as good as the other ones. And I'm telling you, the other ones were a lot of fun. This one, that one, remember, I had a problem with it. It was even more. It was a cartoon even more than anything else. It wasn't as good as the other one.
I'm sorry you got your hopes up.
5 and 6 what was this? 8
for the Fate of the Furious.
5, 6, and 7 were funny. It was not that good.
Yeah, I'm sorry it wasn't as good as Wonder Wheel.
Sorry.
Then we had Guardians Volume 2, which I know you weren't.
Not a fan.
You weren't a fan of that one, and I quite enjoyed it. The King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, and Snatched.
Not a great movie.
Alien Covenant, which
You hated it.
hated that.
I thought it was fine, but it's not. It's certainly not one that I forgot it came out this summer.
What a terrible attempt! I can't believe that. God, that movie.
Continue, good sir.
Bad.
Were you making the same
Baywatch?
point? Awful.
You got to stop. Watch it. Yeah, there's kids listening to this
No
at
one's
the
listening.
gym.
At the gym.
Yeah,
Right.
they're all at the
on
gym.
the treadmill, you think, or
They're-
they're just sitting on a bench?
They're probably on that walking treadmill that you have. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man
Terrible.
Tales,
Not good.
it wasn't. It was just
Not
it
good.
wasn't good. And that's your May.
Nothing stood
That's your May. And then in June you had Wonder Woman. Thank goodness.
Okay, that's your best movie so far.
And then you had then you had The Mummy.
Garbage.
And then you had Rough Night, which is not
Rough.
the funny. Then you had Cars 3.
Not good.
All Eyes on Me, which
Didn't see it.
I liked it. Then you had Transformers.
Terrible.
Last night, you had The Big Sick, but that's not really like a summer.
Not a summer
movie.
blockbuster. That movie would fall into the movies that we're talking about here, because I did watch that recently, and I know you put a review up on the channel too, and I agree. It is a really good movie. It's one of the better movies, because
I hope it gets remembered this time of year.
I think it will, but here's the thing: is that this is why I think certain movies you don't need to put so much budget into, and you can put more marketing budget into and get the word out more, and you could get more like those type of hits on your hand, because I think that you don't like what was the one, the Scarlett Johansson one you just mentioned?
Rough Night.
I mean, they put more money into that, and that thing was shit.
Yeah, but the hard thing is, like, what's the marketing campaign? Honestly, what's the marketing campaign? Like, if you did The Big Sick, what is your marketing campaign to throw at a wide audience? Do you throw a lot of comedy at it? Because it's easier
tough one.
to have if it's like considered like a good cinema,
and no big star.
Yeah, it's easier to market this time of year because it already has the award consideration, like critic quotes and stuff, like one of the best of the year. That shit doesn't happen in the summer. So
No,
the Big
I think
Sick,
they marketed it right. I think they marketed it right, to be honest, because I think that Judd Apatow was a producer on it. They marketed it with his name.
Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani did a lot of late night, sets and stuff like that.
They did what they had to do.
And he did, to their credit, on the budget they had, I thought they did a pretty good job of getting the word out.
Absolutely. They did it right. They were able to approach it in a way, because it is being considered for awards. Now, whether or not it's going to win anything, who knows? But it does. It absolutely. It's been discussed by our circles as one of the best comedies of the year.
And another movie that came out that week. So June's been better.
One movie.
We had Wonder Woman.
We're not going to count Big Sick.
We won't count Big Sick as a summer movie.
movie.
This is considered a summer movie, but also a good crossover as Baby Driver.
Yeah, because that, again,
Summer movie style, but also
big wide release.
Right. Car chases.
More well-known actors.
Christopher Plummer, great in that movie.
Christopher Plummer was really good in that film.
Just every Kevin Spacey movie. Remember The Usual Suspects with Christopher Plummer?
Yeah, it was right.
So good.
Yeah, Kaiser Plummer. But I think that's all right. So right now, June is absolutely the winner, because you've got Wonder Woman and Baby Driver.
And then we'll toss Despicable Me 3 at the end.
Not good.
I tried to shoehorn it in.
Not good.
You also had The House with Will Ferrell and
terrible.
And then July comes around, my birth month, which everybody gets excited about because it's
But look at how the bad is overpowering the good.
We're not winning right now.
Right.
However,
July started strengthening up a little bit.
We got the ball back. We're marching right down the field. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Great
win.
Movie. Okay.
The next weekend. Got the ball back, marching in the field. War for the Planet of the Apes.
July coming in hot.
Okay. Friday, July 24th. I told you, my birth month. Good. Marching down the field with Dunkirk, with Valerian, and Girls Trip the same weekend.
I did not see Valerian yet, so I can't say whether or not. Did you wind up watching it? You didn't see it either. Okay.
I do want to see it.
But you can't. So you can't include that in there yet because I hear very mixed and it bombed. So, but all your other points.
Dunkirk and Girls Trip both.
Dunkirk,
contenders
Girls
for
Trip, Apes, and Spider-Man. Even though Apes didn't do the kind of money they hoped it would, who cares? It was all those movies. So right now, July has just gotten us. It's gotten us some hitters.
And we get Atomic Blonde. I liked that you did,
like it.
And then the Emoji Movie, which
it was probably the worst movie of the year.
Yeah, and then August comes around, and I got a story about
so what do we
this
got?
movie.
6 movies right now. And all the movies you mentioned, we got 6 movies.
Can we look? As of right now, I think we're tied with bad movies, which is.
I don't think that's true. I think you had
even,
six movies in 1 week.
Even if it is true, this is like
making stuff it up.
We feel like we're a superior team, but we're still tied with. Like, if you're going into an exciting summer season, you should not be tied going into August.
That's right.
You should have a huge lead with good movies.
Yeah. And August was awful.
A movie that I just watched for the first time on an aeroplane flying back
Dark
here.
Tower. No?
I didn't hate Dark Tower.
No, I didn't hate Dark Tower either. You could just tell
you
that.
know who I hated?
What? Who'd you hate?
McConaughey.
Really? You hated him? Oh, I didn't
His
mind him.
voice, whatever
You know,
weird, stupid accent.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't mind him.
bad.
That movie you could just tell was
Bad.
missing stuff. It was just missing stuff. And
Felt a little slapped
and it was
together.
so short. It was like 90 minutes or less than that. It was missing stuff. That movie could have been great. And actually, I said it in our review. It made me want to see a television series. I believe that there's a lot of cool stuff there, but it was just cut to pieces. So what? And then the summer just dies, right?
Yeah. Then we had. Detroit came out, but that's not really a summer movie. You had The Glass Cast, not really a summer movie. Annabelle Creation, I did enjoy Annabelle Creation.
Better than it should have.
Then right back, Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah, they gave up. August gave up.
Yeah,
well, that's what I'm trying to say is that this summer did suck for the most part. I mean, I had a couple of hitters in there, but it's just when you week after week after week, and then you have to like find the that one was good. It's just there's a lot of crap that's been put out for sure.
But when you look back on this year, are you going to think about the Oscar movies that you saw and you love, or are you going to think about like the year of Logan and Wonder Woman?
It's a mixture of both.
The year of Get Out.
I think it's a mixture of both. Because another movie that I know that you think you have Coco's your favorite animated movie this year, right?
Yeah, Coco.
The Batman Lego movie is my favorite animated movie this year.
It's a good dark horse.
That to me is my favorite animated film.
It was really good.
I've seen it like 3 or 4 times. My daughter loves it. I think it's one of the best Batman movies that we've seen. Also, and it's a great movie. I love it. And there was that movie. I think it's a mixture because there's not all the movies to be completely honest, all the movies right now, the Oscar movies, nothing's really blown me away. Like because Revenant, when I saw Revenant and Arrival when that came out, it just knocked me out.
Got a question about that though.
Yeah.
And I want you to be honest here.
Sure.
Do you think that part of that is because you're watching a DVD at night at your house instead of going to see because part of the Revenant was feeling this overwhelming screen presence, and part of seeing Arrival was just you're in this theater and you feel like you're immersed in this world.
No, because
it's a little more work for the DVD.
I saw Revenant the second and third time at my place. Liked it better when I saw it at my place.
Okay, but there's nothing like that first time.
No. Look, and both of those movies, and another movie I haven't seen, by the way, which is not a summer movie that I have at home that I'm going to watch is Blade Runner, and everybody says that I should see Blade Runner on the big screen. I just can't do it. But the thing is,
one to watch for the first time at home.
But I'll tell you though, I mean, I can still, as long as I'm not pausing. I have to be by myself, lights off, watching the movie.
Okay, it's a fair answer.
And I'm fine with it because I'm still invested in it. And I think because if you're watching it on an airplane screen, then no.
Oh, is that why I didn't like McConaughey?
No, that's not why I didn't like McConaughey. But I'm just saying like that. So, but you have to have it's like 50-inch television, just watching it, sitting down and chilling out, turn the lights off, and just invest in the movie. and it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a couple movies for y'all to get invested in. We are giving away some good stuff this week. You guys can check out our social media. Check out Twitter and Schmoville for all of the giveaways and how to win them. We got 2 movies we're giving away. We have 3 Blu-ray copies of the Kirsten Dunst movie Woodshock. It's like a horror thriller. And then we have the Defiant Ones. We're giving away 1 Blu-ray copy of the Defiant Ones, the documentary series on HBO. Did you see the Defiant Ones yet?
No, that's with
Jimmy Iovine.
Right,
yeah.
I haven't.
It really, really good. The guy's career. I mean, you go from like Tom Petty stuff to Stevie Nicks stuff to Dr. Dre. I mean, it's so musically, it's just such a great the careers that this guy helped paint the tiny details of. It's pretty. It's an in-depth documentary, and it's really, really good.
And that's everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, and I'm glad that you said that because I wanted to ask you on air and I forgot about it. The Jim Carrey doc on Netflix. Had
no idea it was coming out. Yeah. And this is the thing about Netflix is you turn it on and then it's like, oh, what's that? I see Jim Carrey's face and I'm like, what? It's a document. Holy shit. They had footage. He was filming footage of himself as Andy Kaufman. Loved it.
And they didn't release it because they were worried about how it would represent him at the time.
Loved it so much. How emotional is it when Andy's family...
I didn't see the movie. I didn't see it yet.
Andy's family sees him on set, and he's in character the whole time, and they're weeping because it's like they're like, this is like our brother, our son. It's, dude, it is so interesting. Even if you're not a fan of that movie or you weren't a Kaufman person, it's just so interesting.
So Schnepp was saying how much it made him like dislike Jim Carrey. Do you see why he felt that way?
No. I mean, I could see any counter argument that it would be like, it's like, oh, he's too full of himself.
I heard he gets into like a fight with Jerry Lawler, like for real.
Yeah. I mean, there's some interesting shit, but you never really know what's real and what's that. Like with that whole, because I don't think Kaufman ever truly broke on that, and then Lawler, after Kaufman died. Lawler said no, everything was all set up. I don't think Letterman knew, like when they were or he didn't know the extent of what they were going to do. So there's still some questions, but just watching Jim Carrey's process get into that, and to really, I think it'd be different if this was like Daniel Day-Lewis 20 years later talking about getting into character at Lincoln, which I'd still be curious to watch. But you see the respect and the awe that Jim Carrey had for Andy Kaufman. So when he talks about more like spiritual, ethereal shit where like, Andy, I felt him invade my body and all these things. It's like,
say that?
You give him the kind of pass because he really, really cared about getting it right.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's something I'm definitely going to watch.
And I'm a huge Jim Carrey apologist.
I know you are. You definitely are.
Nobody's ever going to have a better year than 94 than what he did in 94.
No, but he's lost his mind, right? Have you seen his interviews lately? He's lost his mind.
The documentary's great.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you saw that one.
Documentary's great.
Man, that one girl interviewed him a couple weeks back, and he's just in.
Tell me.
He reminded me of Gary Busey in Entourage.
94, you had Ace Ventura in February. You had The Mask in the summer. You had Dumb and Dumber in December.
Right.
You're never... And
it was a good run.
Comedic actor 3.
I would like to look at what Richard. I would like to see what Richard Pryor did, though. Let's see Richard Pryor's record when
movie-wise.
I mean, you got Stir Crazy. When did Stir Crazy come out?
Him and Gene Wilder had like 2 or 3 comedies that came out over the course of 5 years, and then him and Gene Wilder got back for See No Evil, Hear No Evil, The Toy. But like Richard Pryor's not even the
he wasn't the box
20th guy. No. Think about like Eddie Murphy's a guy.
Sure.
That could have done it, but in one calendar year. That'd be like Eddie Murphy having Beverly Hills Cop and The Nutty Professor and, Bowfinger or something like that. All in 1 year. Sure.
No, it's a good point. I mean, it's definitely hard to do, and he is a hard worker, but it's, something snapped. That's all right.
Let's get some Infinity War on the table.
Let's talk about Infinity War. That's why you clicked on the video, right? Because when do they talk about Infinity War? Click to 3541.
Okay, look, if you don't even want to, if you're going to be acting like this, the whole conversation about Infinity War.
I do. No, I want to talk about Infinity War.
No, you don't. You mentally shut down.
That's not what I said. I said.
I wish we could play it back because this is what you just did. I was like, we should probably talk about Infinity War. You went like this. Yeah, we should talk about Infinity War because that's why you clicked on the video.
No, because
then you just stared 10 miles.
Because they saw it on the title, and there's one guy who's never seen the show before. He sees Infinity War, and he goes,
"Why are they just talking about summer movies? What is this? Why this is not Infinity War?"
And then some guy goes, "Click to 3541 for them to talk." What's the time code?
I'll tell you this: we're probably at about.
When did Cody get here?
We're probably about 30 minutes.
Click to 34:15. I was close. If you want to see Avengers talk, so
let's talk about this movie. Infinity War.
Yeah, I will tell you though, I'm excited.
Shows up.
That's the thing. I'm excited for these movies. My thing is not that I feel that they're just, and I don't know if it's a matter of the superhero fandom community, a lot of it that has turned me off from talking about it as much.
I just don't think you're in that headspace right now because you've been cranking all these Oscar movies.
It's not true because I love the trailer. I thought the trailer was incredible. And
the trailer is fantastic.
And I've been looking forward to this movie very much. And I think the fact that they're bringing Alan Silvestri back and that score is there.
I like it's more ominous.
It's the whole thing is it looks great. It looks like there's stakes involved. It looks like there's everything that we've been invested in so far since Iron Man 1 is going to come to a head here, at least in the first part. I'm super invested in it. It's just a matter of, sometimes people are dicks.
No, it can be. It's not exhausting. I don't think that we ever get necessarily tired of talking about it, although there's a lot of shit in and outside movies we like to talk about. Right. But it's more that like you talk about it and then you see just just bushel loads like of horsepower that come at you from the internet that are negative about one thing or another, and it's like, okay, fine, I'll just talk about the 3 Billboard movie because
and then they don't click because they don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about superheroes.
Right. So but I think it's a fine line we've been able to walk pretty well. I mentioned it on Movie Talk earlier this week when Schnepp was kind of feeling the same fatigue where it's like I like talking about the indies and the blockbuster. I like tying that all up into one show, like what we're doing right now. And I think the coolest thing about the Infinity War trailer is that you see Thanos and you see
Thanos looks great,
but maybe my favorite. There's a lot of cool shots when he puts the glove on and you see the 2 Infinity Stones. Then you see he's like looking for I got to get the other ones, and then that scene with taking the one out of Vision's forehead, just whew. If you're kicking Vision's ass like that,
easily,
look out.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to be there. Finally, we're going to have that villain because. Look, Marvel hasn't had great villains. And you and I.
Hela was pretty good.
I think we're on a different page there with Hela. I think that
Loki's pretty good.
I don't think Loki's been good, and I think Robert Redford was good. I think Red Skull was good.
Yeah,
I think Hela. I think the reason why we think if you do think she was good is because Cate Blanchett is Cate Blanchett. There wasn't a lot to her. For the most part, she was. I'm menacing. Why are you menacing? Because I'm Cate Blanchett. All right.
No, there's some ties to Odin in there, and
some of the stuff is fine.
And
she was better than say Ronan. Or whatever his name is, Ronan the Destroyer. Was that his name?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not defending the MCU's villains here, but yeah, Thanos clearly the best one. I like new scruffy Captain America, the Spidey suit. I mean, Spidey suit is the one scene that I clearly remembered from what they showed us at D23, and it looks like they cleaned the effects up even more. I mean, these even on like the computer screen on YouTube, the effects looked so crisp and realistic that this thing. Like, who sees that trailer and is like, I'm not into this?
People who aren't into the genre.
Well, get into it.
But that's also why I think that people who say that there is a superhero fatigue are wrong, and I've said this many times, that there is no... Is there a drama fatigue? Is there a horror fatigue? Is there a drama? This is a genre.
I think there can be all fatigue if you see too many in a row.
What I'm saying is there can be fatigue for an individual, not as a collective. Because I think that if when the fatigue there can be eventually, of course, but I think that if like Westerns certainly got a fatigue because people stop seeing them for the time. But right now there is no fatigue when a movie like even though there's a movie like Thor, right? That made a shit ton of money. There's not a lot of people. Like, there may have not been a lot of mainstream people that wanted to see it, knew about it.
Right.
It made a lot of money. There is no fatigue there still with the genre.
I'm gonna do something a little off book for me. I'm going to compare this to sports. Is that if you like if you look at college football, right? I never ever get sick of watching a college football game if it's like number 1 versus number 4, or like if it's like a playoff implication kind of football game. And then I love watching any college football, so I'll watch the North Dakota States play the Iowa, Western Iowa. But if that game's on and I've already seen 2 games that day, I'm like, maybe I need a little break. So if you keep having a bunch of comic book movies coming out, I think there can be fatigue, but I'm never not going to get up for your Justice League and your Avengers.
Well, but I think even though but the same thing with that analogy. If you put on a game that, I don't know about this game. I've kind of watched all the big games, but then that game turns out to be a big surprise. And you look at something like, even though Logan, you still had some.
You should have seen that North Dakota State game,
right? But I mean, there's like Chronicle, by the way. Chronicle, a movie like Chronicle, where you go, this is now found footage
or a
superhero
Slight
movie.
even, yeah.
Right. Super, like there's movies inside of the genre that you just maybe not. The first Kingsman is a comic book movie that and
Still haven't seen the second one for me. Yeah.
to know that I think that's
It
why
seems like you
should-
wake up every morning and you hate the Golden Circle a little more. Why?
It's not a matter of hating it because I think that I love the first one so much, and I think Matthew Vaughn is like one of my favorite directors right now. That was I was really let down by that movie.
Isn't it hard when a director comes out and they make not even a dud, but it's just like because it's like same thing with Neil Blomkamp. It's like. District
that guy
9.
there?
Holy shit.
Where is that guy?
Elysium for me. Holy shit, what a great movie. And then Chappie, and then but the problem with that,
he got the alien movie.
he
yanked
got
from
the
him.
alien bug bad, and it was
You gotta get alien yanked from him.
yeah, I know, but he got the bug bad, and so because he wanted to do Alien for so long, and it's almost like he's going to prom with the date, but then the date's like X comes back into town, and she's like, "Sorry, I gotta go with Ridley."
Right.
So then they go and they make a shit movie, and now Neil Blomkamp's like, "Well, I had that for so long." He made a really cool short that was online like that they put up a couple of years ago, and I'm like, "This is the guy I want to see." So I'd still be up for him doing one of those Galaxy Far, Far Away movies, man.
Passed. And plus the fact that I passed, I think that I was going to bring that up. I think it was one of the ways he shot himself in the foot. I remember they asked him when he was still like the hot ticket. They asked him a question about Star Wars, and he was like, "I don't know if I'd ever do a Star Wars movie because this, and that." The way he.
What was it? Well, what was it? Don't yada yada me out of the.
I got to read the direct quote, but I remember it was years ago. It was right around the announcement of when they announced JJ as the director of Episode 7, and I remember being excited to hear because I love District 9, and then hearing he's talking about Star Wars, and then I remember reading his exact quote, and it was not flattering, not necessarily just taking shots at Star Wars. It was the way that he almost felt like he was too good for it, or that or what he wanted to do, and I think that it was my biggest problem with him as a director is that what he did so well in District 9 was that he took a political message that he wanted to attack, right? And he made a story about aliens, and he combined both those two, and it didn't feel anything except just a movie with a nice political message infused. Elysium was bash me over the face with it, and Chappie was the same thing.
Well, I think some people, when they watch Rogue One, want to know what the rebellion's healthcare plan was at the time. I want to know if Mon Mothma was providing for everybody.
Probably
like
not.
the guy that got shot in the back. No,
they
thank
covered
you.
that in canon. No,
You brought up something earlier today that I'm really curious for. Let's try to put a number on this, and it's very unfair to do to either
4.
one of us.
7.
I don't think either one of I think Infinity War and Han Solo movie are going to both make more dollars than that. But you think that Avengers is going to just crush the Han Solo movie?
I do. I think. I mean, and
Let's
this
go
is
opening
painful to
weekend.
say.
Let's go opening weekend.
Sure.
Opening weekend. Avengers Infinity War. It's got that $200 million scent.
Yeah, but it's hard to do 200 million in the summertime. I think that Jurassic World did it,
And Avengers did it.
and Avengers did do it, right? See, I think it'll. I think that because of this one, I think it'll do 205.
Yeah, and remember, it comes out May 4th, so I'm sure you're gonna have some sort of like silly action movie that blows up in April that's pretty good. But that's the official summer kickoff, May 4th.
I think Han Solo does 130, maybe 120.
Yeah, I think Infinity War is gonna win. I think it's gonna do over
gonna kill
200.
it.
I
It's
think
gonna kill
it might flirt with The Last Jedi. Opening box office take because The Last Jedi, I think it's going to do. Last Jedi is going to do around like 230, 235. But I think Infinity War could approach that. I think the Han Solo movie, if the marketing is great for it, and it's coming out on the same day as the first Star Wars movie, I think May 25th, and it's got some of that stuff going for it.
It's
Hopefully,
a risky move by Disney.
to what?
Putting the Avengers out 3 weeks before Han Solo because it's still going to eat some.
How long do you want to wait?
I mean, it's still going to eat some of its business. I think they should have stuck with December. They should have kept that December. December Star Wars was a brand new thing that they set up.
I've been saying this especially when your
And I agree
movie
with you.
switches directors.
I agree with
I'm not
you.
yelling at you. I'm yelling at that. But like, no shit.
I don't disagree. I think that they laid stake with that December date. There was no other movie that ever made $100 million ever.
Yeah.
Star Wars: Force Awakens does it. Rogue One does it. And they went away for it. I mean, because now Last Jedi is going to do it, and now they go away from it. Maybe it is because they want to throw it in the summer because they didn't have enough confidence.
They wanted the release date. No, they're probably gearing up for what you want them to do.
2 movies a year. Not right now. They're not doing that. And I mean, I think eventually down the line, maybe. But now with the problems that they had on it, because you look at what they have to do. They got Solo now, right? That's in 6 months. Well, shit, like 6 months from now. They had Solo coming out in 6 months. Then a year and a half later is when Episode 9 comes out, right? Or is it 2 years? It's 2 years. Right?
2 years from now.
2 years from now. So a year and a half later.
2019.
Right. So it'll come, and then
So Christmas is canceled next year.
it's done.
Got nothing to do with Star Wars.
And then the question now is what happens, because they still haven't officially announced that Obi-Wan movie. Hasn't been officially announced.
No. So yeah, it was.
No, it was never officially announced. It was Hollywood Reporter announced it, so everyone thought it was legit. But Lucasfilm never officially announced it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I thought
Everyone
that
thinks it
I
was.
thought that it was an official announcement, but they didn't attach anybody's name to it yet. So all we officially know is that Rian Johnson's working on a new trilogy.
A new trilogy. We don't know.
Do you
when
think
that
they're the
is.
same?
Obi-Wan? No, I don't think it's Obi-Wan.
You don't think it's an Obi-Wan trilogy that Rian Johnson's working because the Rian Johnson press release, it was like another corner of the galaxy.
It wasn't going to
and,
cover.
you know.
It wasn't going to cover stuff that we had heard before. I think it's going to be. I think it'll probably be like.
You think Old Republic?
I think in that era, because I think that we can, because one of the main things that we're missing now that some people are okay with, and because I mentioned how I want to bring back the Sith, and so some people will love that idea, and some people like let it go. The Sith are gone.
Big fan of evil, you are.
But not just that, the Sith, Jedi. There's only really one or two bouncing around in the trilogy that we're in now, but we haven't really seen. I mean, even the prequels didn't explore it maybe to the extent we kind of hoped.
No, you want to see a bunch of Jedi
Fighting.
and a bunch of Sith,
Like, yeah,
the Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah, not a Genosis the way they were doing it with no. I wanted to see like actual.
I don't like that effects.
Let's see more of the war. Let's see the Sith war. There was thousands upon thousands of Sith with red sabers against thousands and thousands of Jedi with sabers. I mean, and let's find out how that all went down.
Can I tell you why I think that the Sith might win that battle? Because if you're a Jedi, you don't know. Like, the Jedi should go into that battle with nothing but blue lightsabers. Because the Jedi, now they have I want my own color. I want my own color. So I think it's harder to know who's on your team. Like, instinctively, when you're looking around, if you're a Sith, all you got to do, hey, red lightsaber, you're cool with it. Red, any other
but they're
color.
also easy to detect.
Yeah, but like you run up to Mace Windu, and it's like really quick because you're in a battle, and you're looking at his saber, and you're like, is that red? I don't know who you are. And then,
Purple. I mean, colorblind. It would be problematic if you're colorblind, I guess.
yeah,
Right.
you think?
Well, I mean, they also have black robes on. Their faces are all fucked up.
Yeah, I think I like the Sith odds as much as I root for the good guys. Rogue One opening weekend, $155 million domestically. Han Solo's got a shot to do that. Here's why. Because Rogue One, as much as we were excited about Star Wars again and all that stuff, we saw the Death Star.
Wasn't Han Solo.
We heard Vader is going to be in it. We didn't see it, and this is Han Solo. So if Ehrenreich does like a good Han Solo in the trailers, we're like, that's the fucking Han Solo.
Trailer's gonna sell it.
We
man.
see him, we see Chewie. Maybe they tease us with Boba Fett or something.
Yeah.
So there's more name brand value you could sell with a Han Solo movie,
Yeah.
but it's not making 200 opening weekend.
No way.
But I think Infinity War will.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And I think that it's that trailer though, and that's the next question, I guess, is when are you going to see that trailer? Because it's
You work for Lucasfilm. Let's pretend. Right?
Yeah.
And Kathy and I are great friends, Kathleen Kennedy and I. Would you run it during The Last Jedi, or is that brand confusion?
If I was going to run it during Last Jedi, I would run it at the end of the movie. I would run it after
Back to the Future 3 style.
After the credits rolled. I would tell everybody in the beginning, don't surprise people. I'd say stay towards the end of the movie where you will see a trailer for Han Solo.
I wouldn't tell people.
Because if you walk out and you don't see it, because the thing is, you want to.
You're going to see it online, and it'll be online.
Either way, but I think that you don't put it up in the front because that might confuse people. But I don't think it's going to come out before Last Jedi. I think it's going to come out during Super Bowl.
Can I tell you why you should also put it at the end of the movie?
Why?
I don't want to follow the Avengers trailer. Do you?
What, right now, you mean? Well, the Avengers trailer came out today, though.
No. I'm just talking about like
when they
a
put it out
great
in the
comic
theater.
going up,
Right,
and it's
right,
like,
right,
I don't want to. Did you see Chris Rock just went to say, I want to follow that?
Because they're going to show that before the Last Jedi.
Yeah, so because you would think it makes the most sense if you're going to play trailers in order. You have the Han Solo trailer be the last trailer. I don't want to follow the Avengers and all the other.
No, because the other risk,
Aquaman trailer, maybe, I don't know.
The other risk is if the trailer's not good, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And Ehrenreich is just doesn't. People don't buy him. That's going to sour the mood going into Last Jedi. It might look. I'm just saying, like if people are going, no, that doesn't look like Han Solo.
No, I agree with you, but I'm thinking like they called in Ron Howard and they're watching the day. You got to think They still have some level of confidence.
I think they have a lot of confidence in the movie. I think that the movies will probably wind up turning out good. But I'm just saying, as far as a strategy and a risk, that's not something you need to risk to put it in front of that, because if you run it in front of the Super Bowl, if you run it during the Super Bowl, you'll get a lot of traction on it. People will pass it around. You're even in that you gotta air it sometime in January.
Your
hand
is almost forced to do the Super Bowl, which I don't think
forced. I like what you did there.
Even though the force didn't really factor into the Han Solo movie.
Right.
I think that you have to, because, like, I don't think that Disney ideally wants to advertise on the Super Bowl when the game is bigger than any trailer, and you're going to get 10 other movie trailers during the game. But you have to, because it's May, and it's just like it's like right there,
or
and
you
it's
just
a big
drop
event
it in January, or you just drop it in January and just own January, because January sucks for movies for the most part anyway. And you just drop it in January and you own January. You get people passing the thing around, and you get people talking about it when it's a slow time. Yeah.
Well, we got that to still wonder about. Can you imagine if we went to the Last Jedi premiere and we see the movie and it's just fantastic, and then at the end they throw that little Han Solo nugget?
Yeah, we talk a little more.
Here's why you don't do that, though, is because you don't want, even in the real, like when it's playing in theaters, you don't do that because you run the risk of people walking out of the theater talking about
Han Solo and not the Last Jedi.
Han Solo and not the last. You want you want eyes on the current movie we're talking about.
I think it's a mistake to play it before or after. I mean, selfishly, I'd like to see it, but I think there's no reason for them, and I don't think that they'll do it. But there's a word that you said that reminded me of another movie that I love that I put in my top 10, and that's Wonder. Wonder was a great movie.
All right.
I loved
Took
that
a minute to get there. Didn't know where we were driving.
You said Wonder.
You picked a nice exit.
Yeah, and I loved the movie, and it's another movie that did a lot better than people thought it was. It's a surprise hit.
Crushing at the box
Big
office.
hit. And it's because I think that it confused people with the trailer. I think that the trailer made it look like it was going to be really sad, and it was going to be a really kind of like a leaving going, oh man, that was tough and depressing. It's not depressing. It's uplifting.
Very uplifting movie.
It's the best Julia Roberts has been in a long time.
I thought it was going to be I didn't think I was going to leave the theater. I just thought I'd be crying during the movie.
You think you're ever going to leave the theater? You think you're just going to stay there the whole time?
I'd stay in there and just watch Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson just be the couple.
I'll watch Julia Roberts.
She might be. It's weird to think favorite actress of all time, and not think Meryl Streep. Yeah, Julia Roberts is way up there. But you watch that movie and it's like, no, I didn't cry watching the movie, and I thought I would.
You don't have kids, though.
I thought it'd be bone. I also had seen Coco. I'm cried out for the
Coco. See,
Luke Skywalker could eat it, and I'd be like, "Where's the factory cranking the tear?" And it's just nothing.
This movie was more emotional to me than Coco was, because I think that. For me, it's the father element of it. I think that
I had tears hitting people in the front.
That spraying out, like Linda Blair in The Exorcist is coming out.
Yeah, but I wasn't puking. No.
Oh, right.
No,
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, you know where tears come from.
Your ass. No, no ass tears. It's a different show, I guess.
Go ahead and wrap up.
All right. So that's the show for this week, and make sure you check out all of our shows here on SK+.
What are you crying tears out of your asshole?
Don't do an asshole. Dear.
You're pooping out of your pee-pee? What's going on?
I'll tell you what, your New York accent right there is 100 times better than Timberlake's on Wonder Wheel.
Hey, give me a pizza pie. I'm on Coney Island. Let's have a hot dog.
All right, I take that back. Make sure you guys check out this show. Obviously, you can go on iTunes, rate, comment, do all that stuff there.
Check out all the family of shows.
Subscribe. Look at all the reviews that we have. We have tons of them coming out here, Mark. We just talked about, like, we just released Call Me By Your Name. We released Wonder Wheel. A lot of movies coming out.
Darkest Hour, Shape of Water,
a lot of trailers,
Disaster Artist.
Tons of them. We got to they keep on coming. But make sure that you guys go over and check out SK+, whether it's on YouTube or, again, in the iTunes feed. We have a bunch of shows that you should check out, whether it's critically acclaimed, top 10, the Schmodown Rundown, the After Schmo. So many great shows, the meaning of.
The Wanger Show.
A lot of great shows. Keep listening to them. Check them out, and we'll be here.
All right. Hurry up the wrap up, because I got to go in the bathroom and pee out some of these tears.
Ass tears. All right. Hashtag ass tears. Guys, we'll see you next time. Skip to 0000.